Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you for being here. And in this videos I'm continuing to break down boundaries, and in this video, in the portion of the video, I'm gonna read about recovering from emotionally immature parents. There is a book, and I'm gonna read portion of it about the rights, the human rights, about boundaries. I love this portion, and I hope you enjoy it too. I'm also creating this for my own follow up if you want to, or just to have it. I really think it's fundamental to have this. The right to set limit. I have the right to set limits on your hurtful or exploitative behaviors. I have a right to break off any interaction in which I feel pressured or coerced. I have a right to stop anything long before I feel exhausted. I have the right to call a halt to any interaction if I don't find it enjoyable. I have a right to say no without a good reason. Number two, the right not to be emotionally coerced. I have a right not to be your rescuer. I have the right to ask you to get help from someone else. I have a right not to fix your problems. I have a right to let you manage your own self esteem without my input. I have a right to let you handle your own distress. I have a right to refuse to feel guilty. Very good. Um, the right of emotional autonomy and mental freedom. Number three, I have a right to any and all of my feelings. I am allowed to have my feelings. I have a right to think anything I want. And also, I have a right not to be ridiculed or mocked about my values, ideas, or interests. I have the right to be bothered by how I am treated. I have a right not to like your behavior or attitude. A right to choose a relationship. I have a right to know whatever I love you or not. Yes, because we pretend that we must love the parents, but if the parents are horrendous monsters and we don't love them, somehow we feel guilty about it because we feel like there is something wrong with us. But sometimes love it's just not there. I have a right to refuse what you want to give me, if it's force advice, financial, whatever it is. I have a right not to be disloyal to myself just to make things easier for you. I have a right to end our relationship even if we are related, which means I have a right not to talk to you if you're bringing only negative crap in my life. I have a right not to be dependent upon. I have a right to stay away from anyone who is unpleasant or draining. 5. The right of clear communication. I have a right to say anything as long as I do so in a non-violent, non-harmful way. And why this book talk about emotionally mature parents? Because parents who are infantile, abusive, and emotionally immature, they don't allow you to speak your beliefs or thoughts, and they require you to copy themselves mostly. I have a right to ask to be listened to and not interrupt. I have a right to tell you my feelings are heard. I have a right to speak up and tell you what I really prefer. Yes. I have a right to be I have a right to be told what you want from me without assuming that I should know. A lot of immature people act like you should know that you already know what they like or they dislike, and that you purposely disturb them or bother them or whatnot, but they never communicate their limits, their boundaries, and their preferences. Instead, they play the ghost game, disappear game, I am offended game, you are mean game. This is infantilism, correct? The right to choose what's best for me. Number six, I have a right not to do things if it's not good time for me. Yes, I'm not obliged. I have a right to leave whenever I want. I don't have to entertain you. I don't have to pretend we're having fun. If I don't feel okay, if I don't feel comfortable, I have a right to leave. I have the right to say no to activities or get-togethers if I find them not enjoyable. Yes, why force yourself to do something that you definitely not enjoy to please others? Why torture yourself? I have a right to make my own decision without self-doubt. And I think I would add here the right to make mistake and live your life the way you want. Because you're not your mother, father, parents, relative. You're your own person. So you have a right to do your decision and you have a right to make mistakes as well. And learn and grow and live your life. Okay, seven. I have right to live my own way. I have right to take action even if you don't think it's a good idea. Yes, I'm young. I have a right to make mistake. I have a right to do silly things. I have the right to spend my energy and time on what I find important to me, important, not to you and anyone else. I have a right to trust my inner experiences and take my aspirations seriously. Yes, as long as you don't take your aspirations and your inner feelings, experiences seriously, nobody will. You need to follow what is inside of you, and you need to follow this unspoken thing that you want and you dream, but you're afraid to dare because the people around you wouldn't approve. I have the right to take all the time I need and not to be rushed. Very good. The right to equal importance and respect. I have a right to be considered just as important as you. Yes, I have the right to live my life without ridicule from anyone, mocking, ridicule, belittle. I have the right to be treated respectfully as an independent adult or individual, independently of my age or sex or preferences. I think a lot of parents disrespect their children, they abuse them, and they're like, I don't know how he come like that. Why he's abusing me? Well, a lot of parents abuse the children in a very young age, and when the children grow up they try to retaliate the parents back with some very similar tendencies, because treating respectfully another human being is must, independently the age, the whatever it is, the situation, right? I have a right to refuse to feel shame. A lot of parents try to shame children in order to get control over them, that you are a bad daughter, you are this, you're XYZ. Okay, the right to put my own health and well-being first. I have a right to thrive, not just survive. I have the right to take time for myself and do what I enjoy or what I need. I have the right to decide how much energy and attention I want to give to another person. I have the right to take time and think things over. I have the right to take care of myself regardless of what others think or want. I have the right to take the time and space necessary to nourish my inner world. Oh, yes. The right to love and protect myself. I have the right to self compassion when I make mistakes. I have the right to change my self concept when it no longer fits. I have the right to change my mind. I have the right to love myself and treat myself nicely. I have the right to be free of self criticism and to enjoy my individuality. I have the right to be me. And that was 10 rights, guys. Amazing. Right to set limit, right to have your own emotion, not to be emotionally coerced, right to emotional and mental freedom, a right to choose relationships, a right to clear communication, a right to choose what is best for me, the right to have safely live my life my own way, the right to equal importance and respect, and the right to put my own health and well-being first, the right to love and protect myself. I gotta tell you, before I started my journey with boundaries and self-respect, I was constantly compromising and I was constantly feeling this gut feeling that I have it up to here and I have to take more, and I was feeling like puking from people. This is the truth. And I just I'm just thinking, I just remember this friend of mine that I visit, Italian friend. We have been friends for over 20 years, and I don't know what really happened to him. I think he went in pension, he went like he retired, and retiring did not affect him well mentally. I think he went a little bit nuts because when I visit him, um, he was just a toxic person, but to the extreme, you know. So knowing somebody for 20 years, I would see him every day in my early 20s. He never had any type of weird behaviors. I think the first red flag started about 10 years ago when I moved to USA, and I mentioned that I wanted to start a business, and he said absolutely not. You should be employee for someone, don't do it. He discouraged me, and he was somehow my mentor, and I was like, why is this person discouraging me? So I choose a strategy. I never tell him that I had a business or anything like that. I never mentioned this to him at all. I don't think he know this until nowadays. But then when I went to visit him, this person was he would spend few hours in the morning reading some politics, and then the next few hours he would spend cursing and nagging and just pouring this negative garbage around like it was horrible. um, then this man asked me for gas money or something. um, for breakfast he bought himself like a nice breakfast or something, and he bring me some old dry like salty cookies, and he insisted that I eat them. And I tried one, but they were bad, honestly. I didn't want to eat them, and I just couldn't understand why this person can just throw the food if it went wrong, why he's trying to force it on me. And I said, no, thank you, I'm not hungry. And then he would continue into some verbal lashes that I'm wrong, that what I do is horrible, that is so wrong. And then this person would proceed with, I was not feeling well, I get a pain medicine, and I was lying on the sofa, and he would proceed with trying to just take my clothes off and be like, let me see what is under those clothes. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, don't act like you're little. And I'm like, basically this person become abusive, like molested me, sexually harassed me. And not longer after this said, he tried to enter in the shower while I was showering. And I was like, why are you doing this? I tried to set a boundary, and I said, if you wanted to have a shower with me, you should ask me. You should ask me politely. And I have the right to say no. Maybe I don't feel like that. Maybe it's not the moment for me to do this. Uh, Instead of starting to undress me, you should ask me if it's okay with me. maybe I would say yes if you didn't do it like this, you know what I mean? So people who are emotionally immature and just stuck, they're usually stuck in their own head basically, and it's kind of hard to, I don't want to say fix it, but even if you communicate certain boundaries, in this case I did try, this person was mentally incapable to listen those. But I will tell you, people who are mentally healthy, psychologically healthy, they are the first one to ask permission. They're the first one to ask for consent. They are okay with receiving no as an answer, and they're okay to listen for opinions that is different from theirs, that may dislike. They don't act, cry, lash, or throw tantrums because you have a different opinions. They may not like it, they may not agree it, but they stay respectful, you know. So that was a beautiful portion of this called Recovering for Emotionally Mature Parents, and this is the Bill of Rights for Adult Children and Emotionally Immature Parents. I know it's from book. I don't know how it's the book called. Maybe it's Recovering from Emotionally Immature Parents, but this is great, and I am happy that I shared it with you guys. If you know the name of this book, you can write it below so I can find it and read it and provide a review for it. If you enjoy knowing those rights of setting limits with your parents, you can press like. Thank you for being here. Bye bye.